If you want to do, it's not something that you can do small scale. It's huge, and you need money, and you need a lot of money to do it. So it's taking time. It's evolving, but it's taking a lot of time to come to fruition.
We also learned from those experiences, just to answer your question, we learned from those experiences, and therefore had made this, the new prize, the new orientation for the prize very practical. And we've also brought into the advisory board some business sense. For example, we have the current chairman of the Lagos State Chamber of Commerce as a member of the advisory board. So that way we can connect business with science. So if we had a winner, for instance, and we hope that we'll have a winner for the malaria prize, for the prize that is now themed on malaria, then that will be linked up with the business sector and find ways of multiplying it for the benefit.
What are the modalities for selecting your judges? And that advisory body mentioned, who are they apart from Prof and the Lagos State Chairman?
We have Prof. Please go ahead. Your
colleagues on the board.
Professor Naj.
Professor Barton Naj. Remember the former minister of finance?
Yes. Yeah. He's a well-known academic, successful, and then it's now an entrepreneurship in energy. So we have Professor Adiku, who is the Vice Chancellor of the University of Abuja. And then we have Michela, who is a nuclear physicist from the University of Abuja.
Okay. So it's quite a star-studded advisory board.
Like you said, we have Mrs. Akande.
Akande, okay. Yes. The only non-egghead.
So what's the criteria for selecting your judges?
The judges. So the advisory board then meets, and first they are masters in their areas. So they then look based on the theme. So for instance, this year is malaria, control of malaria. So they then look to the experts, the best they can find, that can adjudicate over entries on malaria. Prof, please correct me if I'm wrong. So that's how it works.
Yes.
So this advisory board are those that are empowered to pick the best for whatever theme that we judged what to be competed for the year.
Now that you have thrown it wide open, that anybody in the world can actually send in an entry, how are you reaching those people who might be interested in taking part in this competition?
Excellent question. What we've had to do was to identify around the world institutions that are focused on malaria research, and then target information at them. So basically ensure that the call for entries get to their doorsteps. So that is one of the unique things we are doing this year. In addition to that, of course, there's then on top of that, we then lay up the public enlightenment, which we hope also would filter to all those that are relevant. As Prof mentioned, we have moved away from just focusing on general science to specifics. So someone who is in nuclear physics, who is in nuclear science, may not get a direct invitation to enter into this competition.
Malaria.
Because, it doesn't have anything to do with him. So we're focused on those institutions and those persons that are involved and are working in the area of malaria. So next year it may be a different one, but for this year, those are the people that are...
How much of support have you gotten from the government and the private sector in terms of sponsorship of this prize?
Well, we're hoping that we're not really looking for anyone to support us. We are the ones supporting Nigeria. But we're hoping that we would have set enough example, a good enough example, to inspire the country so that others might also begin to sponsor other aspects of science in Nigeria. There's so many things wrong with our value chain of science. We can't begin to enumerate them. So just like we have tried to inspire the country with respect to literature, Yeah, we now have institutions that have come forward, different genres of literature that they are supporting and so on, which is good. And the more we do that, the more that people come to play on this field, the better for our nation, obviously.
You were in the news sometime last year for making donations of engineering research laboratories. In what way is this going to help this particular cause we're talking about?
Great.
And was that your intention when you made those donations?
Great question, great question. So, as we noted, in the many years we've had this prize out, we've only had 6 winners. So we then reflected, what could be wrong? What more could we do? So we then decided that what we needed to do additionally was to equip 6 major universities drawn from each of the geopolitical zones. So from the southwest, you had the University of Ibadan, for example. From the northeast, you had the University of Maiduguri. From the north central, you had the University of Ilorin. And from the northwest, you had Ahmadu Bello University. From the south side, you had the University of Port Harcourt. And from the southeast, you had the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Now, we didn't just pick them randomly. We picked them based on rankings of the NUC and rankings of the world's universities. So, again, putting those in the geopolitical zones in one basket and picking number 1 from there. So that's how we pick those universities. And then we have today completed world-class laboratories in each one of them to support science. So people can actually use those as centers of excellence in those regions. And already we are hearing that the universities themselves are beginning to attract researchers from other places who have heard about the kinds of equipment that are available.
We hope that they are also going to be turned out to be world-class researchers.
We trust that that would happen.
Okay. So all we can do is just wish you all the best, and of course we expect that when you do get a winner, you will come visit us with your winner, as you normally do.
Yeah, we'll do. We will do.
When do entries close, for instance?
In 2 months' time.
Yeah, in 2 months' time. On the 12th of May, entries will close. We expect that between now and the 12th of May, would have good entries that should win the prize.
Prof, just before you go, since this prize started, you first winner now, have you seen increase in research across board in the area of science?
Well, science requires science infrastructure. And one thing this country doesn't support is put money in science infrastructure. Even if you have the brains, you need science infrastructure, and they are very expensive, especially when we are talking of the level of research that you need to do to solve these serious problems.
Okay.
That is so sad, Professor, but that is the way it is in our country today. Thank you very much for coming, Professor Emeritus Akpoveta Susu, Chairman Advisory Board for Science, and
thank you for having
Dr. Kudo Eresia Eke, General Manager, External Resources.
Well, it's getting better. It's getting better. I mean, things went pretty low. The intervention that we made has really gingered science, and we believe that other institutions will follow suit. And I believe the government also is towing the same line.
Thank you very much for coming. Sunrise will return very, very shortly with another interesting conversation.